Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool Podcast. My name is Rex45, and this evening we got Reese from Attack Yamaha in the building. Oh, well, you're actually in your ride. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Oh, what's going on, man? Great to be back.
No doubt. I appreciate you coming on the live, and definitely appreciate you coming because I'd love to hear your story. So let's get into it because I don't want to keep you. Let's talk about how you got into riding and the bikes and stuff like that, man.
Uh, yeah, sure. I mean, got into riding was 2004. It's funny. I actually started out in a 2004 CBR double R. Was
How
that
many
2000
cc's?
and 600? 600. Started out at 600, and then 2005, I got my first R1. Never knew how to ride a really R1, and I kind of never looked back from there. And
Okay.
so
So
started doing track days.
yeah. So what got you into bike in 2001? Was it your boys? Was it your family? Was it just you saying? Like in my case, I was just like, for me, it was 2012. So it was like now or never kind of thing for me. So what got you into bikes in the first place, man?
I got into bikes because of my brother. My younger brother was always riding them, and it just looked kind of fun. And you know, I seen him. We was in funny story. We was in high school, and he skipped school that day, and he had a 954, and he wanted to come in and show everybody off and skip school, and we let out. And he actually tried to come in and do like a wheelie in the parking lot, and it actually almost kind of flipped him off. But because he's so tall at 6'6", he was kind of like holding on to the handlebars, trying to run behind it, and kind of sat down and jumped back on it, and then took off and went home. And when I got home, I was like, "You didn't mean to do that, did you?" He was like, "No, I almost killed myself."
So he went from a 12 o'clock to like a 2 o'clock.
Almost, yeah. So, kind of got in from there, and I was like, "Man, I want to try it." And kind of was history after that, trying it. Never, bought my first bike, didn't even have my license, didn't even know how to really ride, and just kind of took off from the dealership.
Wow, dude, that's pretty interesting. Your younger brother got you into riding, um, and so did you guys like ride together and stuff like that, or like were you like wilding out on the streets like some of these guys and stuff like that, or were
Uh, I mean, we did. We rode it a lot together. I mean, we pretty much rode. I mean, every weekend together. I mean, of course, we did our wilding out days. We didn't do like all the. I mean, he was more of the kind of the Willie guy. I was kind of more like the I just want to go fast. And I mean, of course, you did your, kind of escape from the cops and kind of just run from them and do all of that. I mean, if I look back at it now, I kind of think I should kind of pretty much be under the jail with that.
right. Oh, listen, I didn't do it on bikes. I did it in cars when I was younger. So, I think the statute of limitations ran out. But yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes.
it kind of runs out.
So sometimes the movement happened. Um, that's okay, cool. And so now, were you like into like biker I don't know what they call them, clubs, and back then I don't know what they call them. Were you like were you part of like a crew of sorts, or did you do like the nomad style where you just kind of like, because for me I was commuting back and forth to work or just trying to get a lot of seat time. So what was that like?
No, I actually did join a bike club, and it's funny because we're still established today, and I'm actually still part of it as of today. I'm still one of the actual founders. I'm still actually one of the, as you call it, the OGs of it.
Right.
Brothers United, established, out here in the south of South New Jersey. So I actually got it. So I've been with them now since 2004. I've been with them since.
Oh
So
wow! So let's talk about that a little bit because again, I'm speaking of old G, I feel like I'm one of them because I started definitely in my 40s riding. So so there was the clubs I was seeing, I didn't want to go. So so like what's that? Before we get into racing and all that and track stuff and all
Sure.
that, like what was that community like? When you were in it, did it feel like the biker community was really large, or when you look at back at it now, like compared to where it is today, like did you think it would be where it is? Because it seems like it's much bigger than it was in like 2004, 2000 the area. So like, what was your experience like? Forming a club, deciding to join a club, and did you guys like, what like what's the protocol?
I mean, I seemed like it was a lot bigger then. I mean, it was real big. And, I mean, I joined the club when I did get into it. I wanted to join a club that was not about all the nonsense and all the, I got to do this and I got to do it. It was more about a group of men that just wanted to ride and have a good time, not to be all the nonsense and stupid stuff. And we're still part of that today. We consider ourselves men and gentlemen of men. So it's when I got into it, I just wanted to get around a bunch of guys that rode, and I got a lot of seat time out of it. I mean, you could pretty much say every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, he was out on the bike. I mean, there was times where I used to get a call from my president, and I remember it was me, my brother, my cousin, and we got a call from our president. It was 10 o'clock at night, and you're right around your house in New Jersey. And he's like, "Hey, I need you guys to go to an event out in Virginia." We're like, "Dude, it's 10 o'clock at night," and we're looking at each other like, "All right, you want to do this? All right, let's do it." And next thing you know, we're down there in like 2.5 hours when it's a 4 hour journey.
Right. on bikes.
So on bikes, and we're just like, "Screw it, let's go." So I appreciate everything they gave me. So
Wow, that's pretty dope. Because I haven't done any of that. I'm still trying to do like the state to state stuff, but like I'm not going to talk about the time it took you to get from Jersey to Virginia. But it's to be on the bike and putting in those kind of miles, it's different to me than like going out on the weekend and maybe hitting canyons, or for the people on the West Coast or in New England, going to like, if we're in Boston, we're going to like Vermont, New Hampshire on some of these B roads and stuff like that. But not like, going from Jersey to Virginia. And so like, what was the thing that got you to the track? Hearing the street life and that stuff. What was the thing that decided for you to say, "Hey, I'm going to go to the track"? When was that? And what was that like? What was your experience?
it's funny because a friend of mine, I worked at a dealership for since 2006, almost up to about I want to say 2018. I worked at a
Okay.
dealership all the time, and a friend of mine, when I used to work in a dealership in PA. Funny, his name is actually Reese. His name was Reese, and he was like, "Man, you keep doing the street thing and keep doing it." And I got faster and better on the street, and he's like, "Come on, man, you gotta get to the track." And I had my 2008 R1, and I went the first day out there with him. I was like, "All right, I'll try it. I'll give it a shot." I got my suit, I bought everything. Me and my brother went, and that was when New Jersey Motorsports was first opening, and I went with Nesba, and that that was it. That was history from there on. And I just got stuck. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not doing the street no more. Screw this." I couldn't
Real,
do it no more. I was like, "Yeah, this is it. This is where it's at."
so I've had a few people on the show, and I talk about my experience my first time on the track because I question if I should be out there. Was there any doubt in your mind?
It was a little bit of doubt in my mind, because he told me, he was like, "Hey, when you get here, humble yourself." I said, "Why?" I was like, "No, I'm quick." He said, "All right, you're gonna get this little kid that's gonna smoke you." And sure enough, I remember, and it's funny because the kid still races now. I think he still races nowadays. His name is Anthony Mazziato,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
was out on a 250, and the coaches were like, "Oh, if you see this kid, just got to move out the way for him." And we were training him, and I mean, the kid was coming by you on a 250. I'm like, how the heck is he coming by me on a 250 and I'm on a 1000? So after that, I was like, hold on, I'm gonna get better at this. And sure enough, I just started getting better. And with Lewis took me under his wing when he was out there coaching, and
Okay.
he was like, man, he was like, man, he said, you can do this. And I kept going and kept going. He said, all right, and bump you up to an intermediate. And then he was like, I'll bump you up to advanced, see what you got. And then when I got to advanced, I was like, oh God. But now I'm like, all right, whatever, let's go.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And and with my uncle, and my uncle was out there with me. He's I think Reg is 55, and now he's a coach out there for track days out there. So
Oh wow, that's
we
what's
kind
up.
of so we kind of got a big family in it, and
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of I kind of went the other route,
Right, right.
with
Hey,
the racing. So
no, I was gonna say, yeah. So let's continue on there because I was gonna ask, like, how did you get into? Did you race it yourself? Not to mention what you do for work, but did you start
mm,
racing after that, or was it mostly track days?
it was mostly track days. Then like I never got it. I did one just mock race. I did one mock race. I didn't. Then throughout the years, I was like, everybody kept saying, "Why don't you just go get your race license? Go get your race license." I got it, and I never raced. I never did. I still have it to this day, and never got it. I got my 3Cs from Yamaha Champion Schools, and can go out there and help coach. But I'm like, I never raced, so I'm
Wow.
like, I just do
Okay.
track days and days.
No. Okay. Why? Why didn't you race?
Uh, I never because I started with factory Yamaha in 2014, and I'm still with them today. But once I got into that, it was just like,
Okay. Wait. Wait.
where's the
Wait.
time?
So let's rewind that. When you say started with, I mean, do you start with
Okay,
a factory bike to go to the track, or do you start with a?
so funny story is, it was 2013,
Mhm.
and I was working for the dealership in Florida. I moved to Florida 2011, and I was like, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go watch the race in Jersey, and because a lot of Yamaha corporate guys knew me because I helped when open the track with them and do some certain things with them. I met up with one of my district managers from Yamaha from being in sales, and I was still in sales at the time. And when I went to the track, I met him, and I said, "Hey, how do you, meet these guys on the race team? How do you get to know them?" You know, and he said, "Yeah, you wanted me to introduce you to him." So he introduced me to him, which was Jim Roach, crew chief of Josh Hayes at the time, and he was like, "Hey, we got to find Tom Halverson." And I went to go. We found Tom, which was he's the manager of the team, and and he said, "Yeah, you want to come out and volunteer and help out next year?" I said, "Yeah, sure. I'd help out." And came out 2014, did 3 races, and he was like, "You want to come back next year and help out again?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And it just from 2014, it kind of just came on and on and on, and it was like I think it was like 2016. He's like, "Man, you work harder than guys on payroll."
Oh,
So he's like, "You want to kind of stick around and help out and do this full time?" I was like, "Sure."
so what made you do that? Was it just
Uh
love of motorcycles?
it was actually the love of motorcycles, man. It was the love, like when I started selling motorcycles, I had a passion for it when I started selling and riding because you got to meet all types of people, like
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
sorts of life.
It's a beautiful thing,
And,
man. Opportunity.
right.
Yeah.
I didn't know doctors and all this. I'm like, who, what the heck? So it was just like a passion. And then, when I got to do it on that global grand of scale, it was like, oh, this is it right here. So I just couldn't leave. It was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to do this. This is fun. I don't. When I first started, it wasn't. Everyone's like, oh, you don't get paid. I was like, it's not. It's not even about the money for me. It's the
Right, right,
passion.
right.
I go to the racetrack now and it's work, but I go to the track now. You get paid for it now, yeah. But I don't even care. It's just I get to meet so many people going to the track and just being around the love of the sport
Right.
and you know, to represent a brand that I love to death. It's it's fun.
Right. And so at what point did you pinch yourself and say, yo, I'm like I'm in the NBA of motorcycle racing?
Honestly,
Or you still waiting?
maybe maybe like 2 years ago. Honestly,
Okay, okay.
maybe like 2 years ago, because I get, which is the wildest thing. Moto America came around, and even before Moto America, my uncle was like, "Hey, you're always on television." This is when I was with Graves and JD and everything else, and he was like, "You're always on television. Your face, you're this and that." And he's always telling me, he's like, "You don't know how so-called famous you are coming," because I played basketball overseas. I played for so many years professional ball,
Okay.
and signing autographs over there. But it was like, "You don't know how famous you are." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I'm nobody." And it was, I think we were in around, and this was before we stopped going to Virginia. And I had a group of, young guys come up to me, and they was like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. I'm always approachable, talk to anybody." And he said, "I came here to see you." And I'm like, "Why?" Like, I'm nobody. I'm
Yeah,
like, these are the guys over here. And he said, "No, because I've always seen you on TV, and I just want to know, how did you get into this
yeah.
as a brother, how did you get into this?" And I explained my story.
Wow. It's interesting. There's a guy in Massachusetts, VOG, and he's there's no reggae show going on in Boston without him. And he's always said to me that I do a horrible job at marketing myself because I'm better at what I do than what I say. There's certain people like us, and I don't know you well, but what I'm hearing, it sounds like me as well, because it's like I don't tell people all the things I do. I don't say like what my credentials are. Nobody, when nobody knows, because that's not something that I lean on. I'm more in it for the experience, and I'm here for the
Right,
experience. I'm not here for to for the name or any because I'm not into titles. So I don't believe in titles. So say so it's pretty cool to hear you say that. And but at the same time, it's like you're in Motor America. You're on one of the top teams in the country, and you got to pinch yourself at some point.
yeah, you do. You got to pinch yourself at some point, and sometimes I realize it when you're there at the track, and you're like, there's times, it's normally like a Saturday, and I'm so busy and so run around, do this, run around, do that, run around, do this, and trying to get the bikes ready and get the tires up and get this ready. I'm not paying attention to what's around, but then I'll look up and I'm like, where did all you guys come from? And you'll realize that you're on this factory team, and people just want a glimpse of what you guys do, and you be like, man, this is really it.
Yeah,
You have to. Sometimes I'll step back and I'll realize like how blessed I am, and I'm like, to be where I'm at, and I'm just like, yeah, I couldn't ask for nothing better. I mean, the group of guys that I'm with from all my teams, and from coming from the factory to Attack now, and with Richard, and these guys treat you like a family, and it's like we get along so well. So I sit back and I look at it, and I'm like, and I call them. We talk. We always talk on the off season. We see each other, and it's like that's like a second family to me. So I'm
right,
like,
right.
I'm blessed to be where I'm at.
Nice. Wow. So okay, I can't. I have to. I feel like I have to address this. Basketball overseas, like you like I just you know Let's talk about that. How much you want to talk about, whatever you want to talk about. Like, how, so I'm from Jamaica originally. I came here. I came to the country when I was 8 years old. I in '80s, so '81, I came to the country, and by probably '83, I can sing, sucker, MC, and it assimilated. It was in the culture, and basketball was my thing. I probably could have been good at baseball in hindsight. Um, you know, like, you know, what was that like, and how, you playing overseas, and talk about when you played overseas, because I don't know your age, I don't know when you did it, and what was your experience like that, and did that help assimilating? Assimilating might not be the right word. Did it help your focus when it came to motorcycle, the business side of motorcycle, not even the riding side?
Uh, well, to answer your question, one, I'm 42.
Mm.
Um, but coming out of college, I sat out a couple of years in college, and then when they kept bugging me to come, and I went, played. And when I went overseas, 2000 and what 9 till 2000 and almost what 14 went over there for.
Mm-hmm.
To back to Amsterdam, back to Australia.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, it helps you. I mean, coming up in sports world and coming playing sports, it teaches you how to work with a team. It teaches you how to work with a team, and it's not about you. It's about the team. Hey, I just want to, in my aspect, and everything. I like to win. I hate to lose. I'm very competitive. You know, but I know if I can't help my fellow brother, my fellow teammate, this train's going to fall apart. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got to help him, and that's the way I am. I carry it over to the team now, and it's like, hey, you need some help? All right, let's do it. Come on, let's go. It's I carried it with me in life now.
Nice. Well, hopefully I will see you, and I'll just let you know I got a basketball in my truck all the time.
Hey man, that's fine. We can always go shoot some hoops. I'm always down. I mean, you can ask Heron. I
Yeah.
went to go shoot some hoops with him, and that went in too well. He knows.
Nice, nice, nice. Man, that's pretty cool. And still, you don't want to race,
No.
but you love being a part of the team of racing and contributing. Let's talk about that, and what it's been like on the inside of one of the top teams in America.
What is it like on the inside? It's I call it as like drifting or anything, organized chaos. That's what we call it. Organized. It looks everyone when you see it out on television or you come to the race and you actually see it like all the display, you'll see the truck, the awnings, everything set up. They're like, man, it seems like it's so much fun, and so this is you guys get to live, you guys get to do this, you get to. I'm like, you guys see the finished product. You don't see what goes on behind the scenes, and if they crash or like anything happens, staying till 1 a.m. in the morning to have to get right back up and leave the hotel at 6 and be trackside by 6:45 and still working in the heat, grinding and trying to get this bike ready. Or like right now in the off season, got to go do this, got to go do that, got to get ready for this. Testing here, testing there. It's the finished product what everyone sees, but being behind it is actually great. It's one of the most best experiences I can ever get. We get a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't understand. You can't really talk about and stuff. And what's next? What's the next finish? What's the next goal that we got going on? So
Right,
and get to
right.
see what Yamaha has or going to special events for Yamaha. It's kind of nice.
Nice. Um, Man, there's so many things I can ask, because it's just it,
Ask away, man.
it's pretty cool. Um, is Motor America going in the right direction, to your opinion?
At this point in time, where we're at in 2020, coming into 2025, leaving 2024, I would say yes. I mean, at 2015 when they took over, it looked pretty gloom. But from where it was to where it's at now, I would say yeah, it's going in the right direction. It's like slow steps, but we're getting there. It's getting there. I mean, you're seeing more and more teams wanting to kind of pinch in. There's more and more, more coming in. I mean, you saw Titler's come in the 1 year. Now you saw Ducati sign their 5 year deal. Um, Everybody knows that Ducati signing a 5 year deal, and they must see something very big in that.
Right.
So I mean, we're waiting for the two other brands to come out and play, but I mean, it's going there. It's getting in the right direction. You're starting to see more and more fans come out. I wish more and more fans would come, and it's getting there. Some people still don't know what it is because they're so, it's like an old dog. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Right.
Everybody still thinks of motorcycle racing as AMA. I'm like, that days is gone, but it's now Moto America. And I try to school people on what it is, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'll come check it out." And I just bought a house and told my realtor, and he's a motorcycle fan, and now he's coming. So,
Right. Right. Um,
so
and being in it since 2015, um, do you think the younger people are coming into it in the U.S.? I mean, obviously we know Europe is a different animal.
yes and no. It's just almost the same aspect of when Lewis was on the show talking. It's it's so expensive to do it, versus like dirt bikes or anything like else. It's so expensive. But then when they do it, somebody's got to recognize them if they got the talent. If they have the talent, which there is a lot of talent out here that's still not being shown. And, you go to club races and you'll see them and you're like, Jesus Christ, why does this guy got not ride?
Right.
But if we can get some more sponsorships and more people involved, it's going to grow more. And then I think the younger generation can actually do it.
Right. Nice. Speaking of people who do club racing and stuff like that, and you see it, what are your thoughts on Mesa?
Stefano Mesa?
Yeah. Is there another one?
Uh, I would say, just like my uncle was speaking about him yesterday. I mean, I would say he is almost like a workhorse, man. I give him, he just don't stop. He's like, he'll go to club races to pay for his, stuff out there in Motor
Yeah.
America. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, man, keep
It,
going.
it shows a different kind of way to be able to chase your dreams if you don't
Right,
have the I don't know what the ins and outs are of the. I don't know what the ins and outs are of Motor America in general. But if you don't have a factory seat, I assume if you have a factory seat, you get more money than if you're a privateer. Um,
right,
so he shows a different way to say, hey, look, man, we might not get the factory seats, but I got the skills of the factory rider. But this is how I can finance it.
right. And that's where he's at right now. He's financing his ride. But I mean, he has shown if he can get on a ride, I think he might be okay. Like on
Mm-hmm.
the actual seat or somewhere. Because he has shown the talent and the speed at times that he is capable to stay up there. But I mean, it's everyone knows, coming from me working on cars and working on motorcycles, sometimes it's about that money aspect. How much money you got. Like well, I could do this with this money, but you can't do it. So it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think if he could get on that aspect, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be something different.
yeah. Motorsports. You need money. It's not just about the skills like basketball or football or some of these other sports. Tents are paid for. It's not skills.
It's all paid for because you see a lot of these young kids and they want to go learn and do certain things and they're like, they go to school, they go to I mean, it's like look at Yamaha day school. It's expensive to go. But,
Hmm.
they go to a certain California bike school, this school, that school just to get better at their craft,
Right.
and that is it takes money. It takes money to get there, you know. And that's when you say about racing. I'm looking like to go out there and run what like a 24 at Jersey with these guys, and I'm looking like, yeah, okay, no way. I ain't got that kind of money there at time. I got to work. I got to get your bike up to that speed. So how am I get your bike up to that speed and then still try to go out here and race with you? Nah, I don't have that time.
Yeah.
I got a family to take care of.
Wow. And was that an easy decision to make? Because it's kind of not weird, but I'm a racer first. You know, I believe I can beat Pecco. I believe I can beat Marquez. Like in my mind, it's just that, like, basketball. I believe I can beat Michael Jordan. I believe you have to start with that belief, right? Because you know what I'm saying.
Right,
Regardless if it's true or not, you have to believe it to push yourself
right,
to put yourself to another level. So
right,
I'm a racer first. When regardless, I'll figure out the skills after. But in my mind, like, I'm gonna beat you. Like, I know I can beat you in my mind, but I'll figure it after. So like doing the track days and then helping races, it's like you don't ever want to say, "Yo, let me get them leathers."
No, no, absolutely not. Uh, I give you an example. I did a track day. It was a Yamaha day school, and I'm out there with Kyle Wyman and Josh Heron, and Josh never knew I could ride. Like I was telling Cam P, he was like, "I know you can ride, but I didn't know you could ride like that." I was like, "What do you think I was doing this just for shits and giggles?"
Yeah.
But I come to realize when we're in a bowl of Jersey on the long left-hander, and I'm down, my elbows down, everything, and I feel somebody. You know how you? I'm like, there's somebody behind me, and I feel on my right calf muscle, and I feel somebody just going like this, squeezing it. And I look behind me as I'm coming. All I see is Heron like this, and I'm like, "Ah, oh, hell no." Nah. So I was like, "That's when you know you're like, yeah, I'm not
Okay.
messing with you."
Okay.
And I'm on an R6, and he's on I think he was on a MT-09 at that time.
Okay.
So, and I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, nah, dude, you got that.
Okay. That's humbling, man. Because a lot of people wouldn't say, yeah, yeah, okay, okay. A lot of people will still go out there and just full send.
No, I'm not going to full extent. I mean, like I said, every time I'm out there, hands like, come on, Mo, you follow me. We'll go out there and have some fun. I go out there and follow him. I'll get about 5 laps. We're still kind of close, kind of, and then you can just see the gap keep going and going. I'm like, see ya. And listen, I have no problem admitting at their speed, nah, we're good. But don't get it twisted. I'll go out there and play in advanced group, and you're not going to leave me. But go out
Right.
there with them, nah, that's another story.
Wow. I gotta just dive into that a little bit because I would love to be on the track with any of them guys you're talking about. Um, but like, not even a little bit.
Mm-mm.
Like, you just recognize it. Is it my naivete? I'm not saying that right at the moment, but about, like, is it just because I'm just not? Yeah, I'm being naive. Um, these guys are just that good.
I'll put it to you in perspective of basketball world. While we're working, they're working on their craft.
Yeah.
So they're honing it and talenting it and sharpening it and doing that. Where we have the time, like, okay, we'll go out here today and sharpen our skills and sharpen our pencil and do that. Their pencil is that much sharper than yours.
Right. Oh man, that is pretty wild. Um, it's all for the love because, like, the competitive side, you're just like, all right, I'm done with that. Let me contribute how I can contribute. Um, and what has it been like being on the winning team?
Uh, it's been fun. Been fun. It's been I mean, this year was a little rough. I mean, but we know we're right there.
Right, right.
To win for me myself, of coming from, like I said, from Yamaha, and then we switched over to Attack. Um, I mean, what is it? I've been here now 10 years,
Wow.
and out of the 10 years, I've lost twice.
Wow. Better than Tom Brady.
That's what
I'm
I
from
tell everybody. Like,
Boston,
listen,
so
I have myself 8 number 1 plates on my wall.
wow. That's pretty dope, man. And it's pretty dope. And after having eight number one plates, you're somewhere in the middle of the country in your car talking to me, grinding. Like, where does the
Yep.
motivation come from?
Like I said, it's just a love of bikes. Like I got some bikes in here now from the shop that I got to take somewhere, and it's just the love of it. You're for the passion of motorcycles. It's like it's almost like anything. You want to leave. When I'm done, I want to be able to leave a mark and say, hey, Reese did this and Reese did this. Leave your legacy. What's your
Right.
legacy going to be? And that's where I'm at. I'm like, I want to leave. All these guys that are like Tom Halverson is like almost like he's the managerial role of Yamaha and the liaison between Yamaha and Attack. And he took me under his wing. When I first came aboard, and he's retiring this year, and we're going to miss him. And he's almost like a father figure to me. And he left his legacy with Yamaha, and like
Wow.
can you can never replace that guy when the guy has been working with Yamaha since 1983.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you've been there since the day I was born. So,
Right. That's
so
that. Right.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I have to ask this. I've been fortunate enough now to interview a couple of women on the show and stuff like that. What has it been like for you as a person of color in motorcycle racing? Like, what's that been like?
It's like I said, it's been great. To be on a top tier team and be a person of color. And get the questions of all the time, like how did I get here, and and it's kind of funny because I guess because I came in so young. Well, I didn't come in that young, but I was one of the younger guys at that time. Like all the
Hmm.
guys in the team is kind of like older and the old dinosaurs and know the ropes. But it's kind of funny when you go to dinner with them and all eyes are on you and they're like, "How did you get here?" And all the women are staring at you and you're just like, "Oh well." you know, to still have all my hair and still look young and still everything, and they're just like, "Who is he? What does he do?" So it's kind of nice.
Nice, nice, man. That's what's up, man. Um, how do you think? Let's talk about MotoGP a little bit, World Superbike a little bit, and then the country. Racing as far as BSB, Motor America, the Australian, Canadian, and every other country that has their own league. How do you see motorcycle racing? Are the bikes too fast today? Is MotoGP on the track of 850cc, limiting top speed? As much as you can say, because obviously you are on the inside, so you probably know more than not probably you know more than I do. You know what as much as you can say. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh I mean, it's great that they're putting like MotoGP. I think it's great that they're putting it back into the riders' hands.
Hmm.
I think it's actually going to show a lot more talent. Instead of just being in the rider's aid and just go this way and that way. It's kind of put more talent in it. It kind of could uh bring down the cost big time. I mean, the cost of MotoGP is probably billions of dollars. Um, I mean, it's so bad with GP. We're under Yamaha, and we can't even get in the garage sometimes.
Wow.
It's that secretive. It's like
Wow.
almost like going into Nassau. Like
Wow.
so. But I think that's going to be great for the sport. It's kind of bring it back to actual riding and not like I said, just bring it back into the rider's aid. It'll slow them down a little bit. I mean, they're getting completely out of control and almost F1 style. It's getting to a point where it's like, is this right racing anymore? You
Oh,
know,
it's all or nothing. You have to be willing to
right?
go. Yeah.
You have to really risk it all or nothing, and a lot of I always say this, and I always say this, and I'll say it on air that the consumer or the fan base, like is fans and business side, but a lot of fans think that GP is actual the real bikes. I'm like, nah, that's prototype.
Huh.
That's
Really? Okay.
prototype.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That does. You got to think that doesn't really. That's almost like, as I say from Florida, that's almost like going to Disney World. That's a fantasy.
Yeah. Huh.
That's
And
all our bikes that we have comes from that.
right,
That's
right,
the real bike. World Superbike and us. That's the real bike.
right. Wow. And is it because we just like fantasies of as human beings, or is the racing community not doing a good job in translation?
No, we're Americans. We just like horsepower. We're just power hungry. We're just power hungry. And to see like I've had so many people like I've had there's a lot of people down in Miami, they race on this highway and they go straight, and I've had people come, yeah, I want to hit 200 miles an hour. I'm like, you're not going to hit it. You're not going to hit 200 miles an hour just because your gauge says 200. You're not hitting it. You're actually 10% off. You're not hitting what you think. It's for you to hit 200 miles an hour. I got to crack that motor open to hit that. There's some motor work you got
Wow.
to do.
Can you repeat that one more time, man? Because there's a lot of people on social everywhere showing what their tax says. So what you're trying to say from attack Yamaha, well, not one of the the best team in Motor America, 8 out of 10 times. You got to crack a motor open to get 200 miles an hour. Is what you're saying?
Right. There's no way just because your tachometer says it, it's not. If you're hitting 181, minus 10% of that. Minus
Wow.
10%. That's your real number. That's your real power. You're not hitting it, and your bike actually dies out at certain RPMs. Everyone wants to red line and red line. I'm like, that's why you're getting beat. Like, there's so many times I've beaten a guy on a Hayabusa or a Gixxer 1000 or whatever they got. I'm beating them on a bone stock bike. First of all, I mean, you got to learn how to go in the curves. You got to learn how to ride the bike. And then you have to actually learn there's a certain RPM that your power dies off.
Right.
After
Yeah.
that, your bike is
Yeah.
not making any more power. It's just you're just revving it to the moon.
Right. That's cars and bikes, but yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, anything with RPM. Um, I'm rethinking my times at Daytona now that you say that.
And then you gotta. Tom did a test. I remember Tom did a test, and I explained it to people, and it kind of hurt some people's feelings because they were like, "No, I'm doing it." I was like, "Watch this," and people don't know how much pressure or how much your front forks can compress. How much pounds of force that front forks can take. They don't know. The average street person does not know. The average track day rider doesn't even know.
Probably not. Can you elaborate more on that? And is it better or worse depending on how much you can compress?
No, I mean you got to think about it. The more of the carcass of the tire you can compress, the more traction you're going to get. Your carcass is like this. You want it to compress to get more traction and rubber down the ground.
Right.
So, like I said, the test was done, and I think the average street rider that Tom said he was doing, and the average street rider was compressing his forks. That's literally taking the top of your sleeve down to the bottom of that sleeve down in the front
Right.
tire.
So
Um,
I get what you're saying, but
hmm
you're gonna have to just
Yeah, I'm gonna
talk to
explain it
us
for you.
like a 5-year old like Denzel because the carcass of the tire and the suspension are two completely separate things. And it's
It's
not
two different.
and you want the carcass of the tire to compress as much as possible because that's going to get you the most grip. But does the and again, from my knowledge, does the suspension need how much does the suspension need to compress to allow the carcass to spread to give you the most grip you need?
Okay, so here's the thing. Average street rider is compressing that fork about 25%. So you still have about 75% left that you can squash. The average day track rider is probably compressing what Tom said it was about 52%.
Okay.
The average top guys in Moto America racing is compressing their front forks literally about 95%. They are
Oh,
bottom out.
okay. And so, at what percentage do you need to be to take
You
advantage of
want
the
to
tire?
over a little over 50%. Tom's up.
Okay.
You want to
And
be over that 50% mark.
and is it more for um, break-in or more for like corner entry?
It just all depends on where you're at, what you're doing. I mean, if you're braking, yeah, you want to get as much as that front. A lot of people think, those guys are steering with their rear. They're steering with their front. If they don't have any front feel, then they're just getting beat. If
Okay.
you actually notice, if you actually watch like GP, Moto America, you can actually watch when they brake, their rear tire is literally bouncing on the ground. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah,
touching.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
bouncing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they're getting all their front entry feel, all their corner entry feel coming in the front end. Once they can feel it, they're just gone.
Right, right. And this maybe whatever it is. But it is also a point to where these guys are also using the forks to also make them transition quicker.
Right. You can transition quicker. I mean, there are things that we do. We can, we want to transition quicker. I'll give you an example. Sometimes we can rake the bike out. We rake the front end out. We bring it back in. All depends on what we want to do. We want to break. We want to, get in a straight line. Just like how you see Marquez and them. They have the ride height device. They lower it. That gives them more straight away speed to take off.
Right.
I mean, there's different things we can do. I mean, different. It depends on the track. There's times where we bring the forks in. Times we bring the forks out.
So let's talk about like a weekend and bike setup. Um,
Hmm.
like from a fan perspective, we just see what we see. Um, I. It's fair to say like every lap matters,
Hmm.
right? What's that process like? And I know it's somewhat rider dependent because it depends on the experience, right? So, but like, what's that
Hmm.
process like for these guys coming in on a Thursday on a Friday and getting the bike set up and racing for the weekend? And in Motor America, there's no sprint race, right? It's just two races: one race on Friday, Saturday, one race on Sunday.
Hmm. I mean, we're getting it set up. We're kind of going back to our notes from last year. You go back to your notes to kind of, if the track is a tight track or it's a long track, it all depends on the corners. We're trying to get it set up based off of the last year data. And then we kind of go, it's pretty much you use last year's data as a benchmark. That's
Okay.
what we're going to use. You use that as a benchmark. And then once Friday comes, we're kind of going from there. They're kind of talking to their crew chief and the guys and trying to figure out the setup from there to see, hey, we can't do this. Hey, I need to go to a softer tire. I need to go to a more harder tire. More rebound, more compression. They're going from there, or I can't turn it in as quick enough. It just all depends on the rider and how they're riding that track that day.
Wow. Okay. So like me showing up on a Friday and just setting up and waiting until Saturday to do tech doesn't cut it.
No. No. And make sure we always tell people make sure you get those because we go by, we can see on data on a thing, we can tell if they're using their brakes, they're dragging your brakes. We could tell what you're doing. They'd be like, "Oh, it's no speed." I'm like, "You're dragging your brakes all the way through." And we
Wow.
could, and you could say something, and we could see it all the way through the data. Like, well, your brakes is on right here, and you only. They're like, well, I'm full throttle, and Richard's going to tell him like, well, it says you're only like 75% throttle. You still got 25% left.
Wow. Okay. So, and I don't know if you can explain this in the show, but what's like a optimal lap? You pick the track. What's the optimal lap for a rider? Because you're talking about brake dragging and stuff like that, and where they can get quicker. Um, like what's the optimal lap that makes sense? I mean, because if you can see everything, like what are you telling the rider? Let off the brake, don't brake until this point, like gas here, like
Well, he's telling them if it's certain corners that he knows that the crew chief sees, and he's like they're going back and looking at the data after they come and debrief. He's going to go back and tell the rider, "Hey, I think you can get a lot faster in this corner. Like I think you can be a lot faster in this corner. You seem like you're a little slow in this corner." And the rider be like, "Hey, I can't speed a corner, entry corner," or he's like, "I don't feel comfortable on this corner." But that's normally the optimal. They'll just kind of pick certain things out, and they'll be like, "I think you can gain a little 2/10 of a second here, or another second there. 2/10 of a second. They're picking out their spots."
So does the rider ever say, "How do you know? Because you haven't done it."
Uh no, not really. They're more contraceptive, but they just have to.
They trust the data.
That's where it comes down trusting your crew chief,
Yeah. Okay.
and making sure he's going to give you the best. Because at the end of the day, the crew chief is the one that's making all the calls.
Right.
He's
Right.
making
Right.
all the calls, and it comes down to us, and we're like, all right,
It's like, yeah, bro, break a little bit later.
that's it. I've heard that say before, like, hey, just break later. All right, cool. I've heard it. I'm like, it. So it
Listen,
comes down to that.
I've been on the side of trying to break later, so I know what my brain says and what my hand says. So.
Right. You see that break market coming up, you're like, oh shoot. So I've been there.
Yeah. Oh wow, man, this is pretty cool. Um, so you guys didn't have the 2024 you wanted. What does 2025 look like for you guys? And as much as you can talk about, obviously.
I mean, we're always on the side of we want to win. I mean, we always go with the promising side. I mean, we're always willing to step up our game and try to keep going. I mean, 25. I mean, we go with the same thing every year. I mean, we think we can win it all.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with the writers you guys got, I mean, I've said on the show, I think it was either Friday or before, like, Petrucci was one of the closest guys to you guys. I know Herring did what he did last year, but the year before and the years before was what it is. So in America, and we'll wrap up after this. In America, what you see in MotoGP and what we see in the US, and even in BSB on the Yamaha stuff like that, and even in World Superbike, what's the conversation like for you guys?
As far as,
As far as, because I mean, like in MotoGP, the Yamaha is struggling a lot,
mm,
but I mean, World Superbike a little bit, but I think it's more newer riders than anything else. I think Gardner and what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Um,
Locatelli,
yeah,
Locatelli.
exactly. Locatelli, exactly. It's like um, probably top six, right? In World Superbike, but in the US, you guys are top three.
Yeah, I mean we're top three. I mean we know we can hang with those guys. I mean there's a couple of guys that's going to come out there on their A game as one of the top riders. Everyone knows him as Cam Bovier. I mean he's one of the top riders. I mean But I mean, we know we can go after him, and we know we can beat him. Um, but like I said, we approach every year the same way. We go all in,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that we can win if our guys come with the mindset and healthy and everything else. We know we can take the win. We know we got this.
And I have one more. I do have one or two more questions.
Go ahead, fire away.
Because yeah, you had Petrucci come in, Lois Bass
Hmm.
come in. You got Bobia that came from Moto Two, um, like, and that's world stages, right? MotoGP, World Superbike. Um, like, are you thumping your chest? I mean, well, up until last year, I guess you were like, whoever come, just come, right? Anything that's dead.
I mean, yeah, you could thump your chest out there, and I tell everybody. I mean, you also got to think the brains and the the chief and commander, the brains and the genius behind all the madness, and that's Richard. I mean, he's been out there from MotoGP, the World Superbike. He's done them all. But you got to really thank him too.
Yeah,
But I mean, because without him, I mean, I don't know. But there you do have to pump your chest and say, "Hey, man, we got this. I
yeah.
mean, we can do this." There's this the everyone says that the Yamaha is slow. That's not slow. I mean, by no means. I mean, yeah, you're racing some bigger bike, CC bikes as far as Ducati,
All
but we
right.
got this.
Nice, man. Hey, I'll leave it there. I have two Ducatis and I have two Yamahas. I'm like Switzerland.
Hey, take your Ducati and you can have your Desmo Dici, and I'll take all of it. Just let me know how much that bill is on that Desmo service,
We don't talk
and I'll
about
tell
those.
track stars.
Go ahead.
I said, and I'll tell track stars too. I'm like, how much is that bill over there on that Desmo?
Yeah, we don't talk about what goes on in at home.
Let me know.
We just show up. I want to thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it and your wealth of
No worries,
knowledge.
man.
And I hope to have you on more and talk more, man. And I wish you the best for 2025 and going forward. I love what you're doing for our culture. I love that you're doing it just because you want to do it, and there's no other motivation. Because I've gotten lost with other motivation in the past, and I realized that I had to do it for the love. And so I've learned my lesson there, and it seems like you'll figure this thing out, and it's pretty cool because you're in one of the top teams in the U.S. Man, so that's pretty dope.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me on the show, and I look forward to coming back. And we look forward to myself and all the crew. And everybody there at Moto America. We look forward to seeing everybody out there as we say, at the next race.
Nice, man. Well, thank you for coming on, man. Peace.
Nope. Thank you, man. Have a good night.